So we have like further and further and further. First generation, I'm aware of bodies, just feels much the year 1909 over and over again, and the mosquito net and bank, you can actually even hear it again with 1909. That felt like it's either a year first he had a paper airplane, like a year of the sailboat, but intervention made of wood. There's either something muslin stop. The being who is in this space is no longer physically in this space, but there are remnants, and one of the strongest remnants are glasses. They're showing me themselves shattered, as if they would have been shattered or fallen, and I feel like it wasn't my right time. I wasn't prepared for it, or I didn't want to go, or I wasn't fully known in this lifetime, and I would have liked to be more known. My interests, my passions. There's somebody who was here at one time, I don't know exactly who this is, but suddenly I get a very almost preening, very beautiful, like curls, but it doesn't feel totally female energy. I'm very fit, I'm entertaining. It doesn't feel like a house guest. It feels like somebody simply connected to the wood, almost regal. I'm aware of the word lumbago, strangely. I have forgotten what lumbago is. Let me just tap in again. Again, there's a woman who may have frequented this room. Image of, again, of a traveler. She was upstairs the last time I was upstairs, and she's downstairs also. Not ornate, not elaborate. She's wearing a brown coat, rather tailored at the waist, flares out, and she would have had 2 children who accompanied her. Suddenly a parrot comes into this reading. There's a little kid that, again, with this sail, it's got like a sailboat. First he had a paper airplane, and now he's kind of coming up with a sailboat to show it. It's made of wood, and it's got a kind of a muslin or canvas sail. And he just wants to play, and he just wants to show what he has, just so that we can admire and see that. That's a very nice boat. It's a really beautiful boat. It has a beautiful blue stripe on it, and it is a little worn, but it looks great. Let's put it in the pond, maybe, okay? Let's do that. He's very agreeable. He wants to put it in the pond. Yeah, it's just really like bon appetit, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's a table. People eat at it. It's a little obvious. The strongest energy is really the energy of the acorn. You know, if you have a oak tree and you have the acorn smell, and it's taking me back to the ground underneath here, and the ground underneath here feels very rich and feels very laden. I don't know if there are peoples who would have been here before the time of the Gamble House that would have been here eating, processing their refuse. There is an image of an actual acorn, but there's a kind of trade or an exchange being made, almost like a pact or a compact. If you do this, then I'll do that. But you really have to honor that pact. It's acorn for knowledge, or acorn for station. Without that exchange, I don't know that the house would be there. This is a truly powerful spot. I feel like I'm sitting on a big emission of white light. If you were to sit on this spot with any sensitivity, you could feel the pull of the earth. You could feel the wideness and sweetness of the earth, the depth of its multiple layers. I feel the population around here in their spirit form, and they're tall, white, with masks. It almost feels as if there would have been or is a branch that would have been allowed to or would have grown through this room, and the sense of renewal on top of this sense of incursion. But the branch itself is like an arm or a finger, and it's very soft, it's very giving, it's very tender, and it's a sense of being able to energetically tend the space. The same people who were on the lawn are here now. These are actually elders, and they're part of a tribe, and they're wearing white, and white has a particular tone of mourning to it. They're calling themselves long people. I see a big acorn hull on one side and an acorn hull on the other, and it's all about justice, and it's all about, there are workers literally with carts and mules, and they're calling themselves the simple craftsmen. If I can go into the earth, down, 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 down into the center of the earth here, or toward the center of the earth here, definitely there must have been a community here. This is all I can tell you, is that there must have been a community, and this is a very powerful spot. Gosh, this is where the limits of language come in. You know, my stomach doesn't feel well, my leg doesn't feel well. I feel like I need absolute quiet, and I must just have all the chatter go away. I'm seeing a glass, long chartreuse glass, would have been filled with a sedative, adjourn, adjudicate, adjourn. Adjourn, is that a word? What is even adjourn? Pewter, crabapple, cherry blossom. Human bodies over time deprive art of its power. There's a need to kind of like forage. I see like squirrels. I need to eat off the land. I'm welding literally with metals onto this bitumen of this earth. The globe, ba 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 ba, in movies, RKO, ba 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 ba. Human skin to wood skin connection. This house is a house that very much wants to feel itself. These are very old energies that are here, and they're kind of rising in skeletal form. My back aches, my spine is showing up as something that needs rest, and I adore the child, but I cannot tolerate play another moment, and I would just wish someone would take her away, just so that I can get just a bit of peace, an air of resentment, an air of depletion and dilapidation, very, very far, far, far out on the edges. So I can feel the wood in this room ever so slightly expand and enlarge and contract. I get the word consortium. I get the words evensong, and there are other songs that are more rhythmical and deeper and more guttural, and they need to come together. I feel like I need to wash my hands quite a bit, and I feel like when I wash my hands, there are these small buds that come off of them, and I have to release all of this orange energy out of my body, wanting to stretch one's fascia, the wood wanting to expand, and the people inside being very minute in comparison with the wood's needs. It's almost as if the house itself is turning and emptying out all the residue of the people, wanting just to be free of people, free of the spoilage is the word that I'm getting. I just want to keep pushing out further and further and further, and as I do, my own body just feels much, much more relaxed. Scripture and repose, breeze and rest and fun, and a certain kind of solidarity, solitude, solitary, solidity, all of those words. Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But the oak tree is just amassing all of these leaves, and I can smell the smell of the leaves of the oak tree. I hear the rustle of the oak tree, the leaves filling this vast space and time. And there's this emptiness all around. I can feel that way, that way, that way, that way. There's this desire almost internally to wander, to go into a grove, the heat and the breeze, strong sense of the moon shining in a crescent, and this sense of an isolation that's almost spiritual, and just to lose oneself out in this very dense night.